Meeting Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
And I am present.
Is this January's check?
That is December's check.
That's
January,
it.
you get paid the end of the month.
Okay, good, good.
Okay, and Chris, as far as the minutes from the organizational meeting, since they're, also the Records Commission are quite lengthy, everyone's had a chance to review the minutes prior to the meeting. And I'm not going to ask Chris to read these because we'll be here all night. So I'm going to make a motion to accept the 2024 end of year meeting and 2025 organizational meeting minutes as presented.
So moved. Or second.
And that also includes the Records Commission.
Okay, I will put that in there too.
And you're ready, Chris.
Okay, Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Okay, Chris, you want to cover then the bills and investments?
You've got the payment listing in front of you for the first part of the month. Largest bill that's in there is our OPWC payment for the first half of the year. Otherwise, it's pretty much NOACA's membership. Everything else is pretty much monthly bills.
And that's just paying off the no-interest loans we
Yes.
had for the road repairs, just so it's clear for everyone.
Yep. And let's see. Being the first of the year, we have our year-to-date
Very little
revenue
money.
at $3,457.97. I just got 2 remittances from the auditor today, so I wanted to make sure I got those in there. So we have something. And our expenses year-to-date are $64,033.54. We all know we'll catch up.
Catch up when that first half property
Yes,
tax
sir.
comes in. Yeah, it always looks kind of sad at this point.
Yes,
of the
it
year.
does.
All right, are there any questions on the payment listings or the financial reports? Hearing none, then I'm going to make a motion to approve the payment listing and financial reports as presented by the fiscal officer.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
What's the number on that,
That
Chris?
is 1-2. One, 225. Thank you.
214,000.
Okay, was there anything else there, Chris?
No, I did want to report that the 2024 year end was completed on January 4th, and all the final reports will be submitted this coming up Friday. I wanted to give employees time to look over their W-2s and 1099s before submitting to the state and to the federal offices. So 2025 is up and running, and this Friday I'll be working again with the state auditor to start working on 2021-2022 audit, again, that hopefully will be completed sometime first quarter of this year.
Wasn't that 2022, 2023?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the dates on the,
Okay.
yes, it is 2022, 2023.
Okay. And then just a reminder for everyone
Bless
is we only passed a temporary budget at the last meeting, so we do have to get the permanent budget finalized. Probably I put down March 25th. That gives time to get it to the auditor. And that'll be one of our meetings there. So are there any other comments for Chris?
No.
Chris, you have anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, we'll move on to the section where we welcome anyone in attendance, and it's a light turnout tonight, so if you have anything to bring before the trustees, and you'll have to use the microphone, whether you're more comfortable sitting or standing at the podium.
So I just came to introduce myself. My name is Farah Lillian Emeka, and I am running for Oberlin Municipal Court Judge. If you weren't aware, Judge Tom Januzzi, who's been on the bench for about 4 terms now, is retiring, and the election for the primary is May 6th of 2025. So it's coming up here in a few months, coming really fast. And I wanted to talk to you about who I am and what the court is all about. If you've ever gotten a traffic ticket, you know, if you haven't, great, but if you have, driving through this area, you would end up in the Oberlin Municipal Court, and the person that you would interact with is me, because I am your prosecutor. I have been your prosecutor for, this is my 8th year now in that role, which means I'm in Oberlin Municipal Court every week on a daily basis. I know how the court is run. I know the things that are going well there, and I know where there are opportunities for improvement. The jurisdiction of the court is actually pretty geographically broad. It includes about 14 municipalities. So you have the city of Oberlin where it actually sits, but you also have the city of Amherst, the village of Wellington, Amherst Township, Brighton, Camden, and so many of the townships that are located in this southwest corner of Lorain County. So pretty broad area, very diverse group of people that are represented by that court. It's your court. You can actually walk in there at any point and watch the proceedings and interact with the folks, and it's important that you know that. The reason why I'm asking for your support in this upcoming election is because I feel that I'm the best candidate. I'm there every day. I have experience with working with the folks that live in this area as your prosecutor. I also have leadership experience. I just came from the Oberlin City Schools Board of Education organizational meeting because I am the president of the Board of Education right now. I've also been the chair of the Lorain County Urban League. I've been the chair of the Ruby Jones Community Scholarship Fund, and I was even a managing attorney at the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office for several years, leading about 15 to 20 or so attorneys. So I have that leadership experience. The judge of a municipal court actually runs the entire court. So they pick the clerk, they pick their staff, they manage them. They also manage a budget. So I have lots of experience on boards dealing with those types of things. The other thing that's really important in a judge is the right kind of temperament, right? So people who come into a court, whether they're dealing with a civil situation or a criminal situation, they are in a high stress moment. And they are scared and they are nervous. And so you need them to be able to come before somebody who can kind of deal with those emotions, keep the docket moving along, and make sure that folks get the results that they deserve and that are just. In our court system, each person who comes before the court has a set of rights. It's my goal to make sure that everybody's rights are accessible to them, that they're upheld, and that justice gets done. So just remember on May 6, 2025, you can actually start early voting in April. April 8th is early voting to remember Farah Lillian Emeka. I'm so glad that you all gave me the opportunity to present to you today, and you will see me around. I will be back. I'm attending different events in the community just to kind of get the word out and to talk to people about who I am. So thank you so much for your time
You
today.
guys have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Really?
Yes.
I want to know.
If I have to answer that question, let me tell you, this is some ways for me to answer it. Yeah. I have been practicing law for 24 years.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's enough.
Okay.
That's enough.
My oldest son is
So
26.
you guessed wrong.
I guessed wrong.
I take very good care of myself, so I take that question as a compliment.
Couple days over 21.
Yeah, right? Any other questions? I'm happy to answer them. No?
I
Okay.
don't know if that's not me.
Uh-oh.
It's, somebody's beeping out there.
Yeah, I don't
Well, I
think
can
it's
just,
me.
for my fellow trustees, if you haven't seen it, she already come to Lorain County Township Association meetings, and I don't know if we'll see you this coming Thursday or not.
Yeah, I am trying to make it. There's a couple other things going on, but thank you so much for
You'll get a
sharing
lot of
that.
the communities that she'll represent. showing up there. And Judge Newsy took care of himself. We used to see him jogging around here all the time, so.
Yeah, he's in great shape. So he could have kept going, but those of us who are interested in being on the bench are glad that he's taking retirement so that, it leaves the way open for some of us to have this experience, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you all so much for your time today. I
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming.
Thank you.
So that's a red car. I don't know who's parked over here in a red car.
No, no.
Is that you, Denny?
Well, I'm parked in the red car.
That might be you. You're over here.
I'm against the back.
Yeah, it's not against the back, and it's not Chris.
It must be
Ah, it's Denny.
because I hit mine several times.
Must have sat on it, Denny.
I did.
I do it all the time at home.
I did. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, we'll move on to correspondence. Chris?
I noted prior to the meeting, and I'll let the other trustees know, that we received the correspondence from the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Township Highway System mileage certification, and I need your signatures on that so I can get that back to the engineer's office.
It'll be in the second green packet
Second
here.
green folder.
David, so you'll still have more items assigned, Denny. Okay, anything else?
That's all I have.
All right.
Where is the green package at?
It's right here. I didn't finish signing everything. Okay, David, any correspondence or announcements?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time.
Okay, Denny?
Nothing.
All right, a couple of items, and I believe I would have sent the email to you. NOPEC is hosting a lunch and learn for all Lorraine County small businesses and nonprofits. Obviously, the trustees are welcome this Friday, January 17th, from 12 p.m. to 1:30 at Lorraine Brewing Company, and that's at 500 Shipyard Way in the city of Lorraine. We also just received, I think that came in today, from NOPEC on the Energized Community Grant Award for the township, which is the $12,136, and I think Linda might be reporting later, either under Township Administrator section or NOPEC, one or the other, as to potential use of those funds and some of the others we have remaining in escrow. And other than, you've got the Lorraine County Township Association meeting coming up this Thursday, and I just came from the Lorraine County Stormwater District meeting. I did have conversations with Kevin before he had to run out to take care of salting and removing some snow, joining Russ outside with that. And since then I got to talk with Linda, that recall when we had the Rustic Hill project, that was the OPC application we had, and we were approved. Part of that is the catch basin replacements, which will be used as part of our match, which was recommended by the county engineer that we consider this when we've got a stormwater project, to use that at the same time with the road project. So we've done that, and though the stormwater district has not released the announcement yet for what they call the mini grant for stormwater, we are aware that it would be coming. At the meeting, they announced it's no change from last year, so Linda's going to begin working on that grant right away, and since we already approved that through previous legislation, she can get that done without having to wait until the next meeting. We're eligible to apply for two, and I explained to Don Romankak, who's the director of the Stormwater District, the difficulty in trying to get estimates and quotes from potential suppliers or on these bids. And so he indicated that since we've got experience in doing these before, we can put in an estimate, make the application. We'd basically be accepting the risk, though, because if the estimate comes in higher than what we put in, then obviously all that additional cost is going to fall on the township, so we have to make sure we've got those funds allocated. If it comes in lower, they won't just reduce just the grant funds. It'll have to be proportionate between the township funds and the stormwater district funds. So we will be putting in for 2 applications. This isn't huge money. The grant funds for each project are topped out at $7,500. But we'll get ahead of the game, I expect, this Thursday at the Lorraine County Township Association meeting. They'll be making a verbal announcement, which probably then the written follow-up coming after that. Okay, so, and just a reminder for the rest of the board is I won't be at the meeting on January 28th because I am going to head down to Columbus the night before the conference, because I think I explained before, I've had the experience in the past of going the day of and leaving that same day when the conference ends, and it just seems that's when the snow issues tend to hit us, and I'm not comfortable all the time driving down there where you got a time deadline, whether it's at night or the early morning. So I won't be at the next meeting. We'll move on to reports. Ambulance, and David, I did send you an email. Sandstone Joint Ambulance Board District, our next meeting is on Thursday, February 13th. Melissa Gilker's not going to be able to make that meeting, and you're one of the alternates, so if you can put that on your schedule, just to make sure we have a quorum there.
What day is it?
February 13th. Okay? I'm sure if you just saw the paper today, you've got both Lorraine and Elyria are both looking at alternative provisions and options for ambulance service. And if those 2 pull out, I don't know how that can affect things here, because that would be a huge revenue loss to Life Care, which has a 3-year contract with our district. We're only 1 year into it, so we have 2 years remaining with the potential of another additional year add-on if we all agree. They had a 10-year contract with the city of Vermillion and Brownhelm Township. I'm not sure how many years they've already used on that, but though they still have that business, those communities aren't of the same size as Lorraine and Elyria, so that's where the majority of the business to the Life Care comes from. So I don't know what their studies are going to look like. I know there's some individuals that are favoring having their fire departments take that over. Lorraine essentially is doing similar to what our district does. Our fire departments are the first responders going out, and we've got the specified calls when they go out, and then if the person is stabilized and they decide they don't want to transport, or they're going to get their own transportation, Life Care staffing this, we're paying for that, they come out, but they've got no one to bill. And so that's the issue that they're running into. So I don't, what Lorraine's going to do is they're now going to send their fire department similar to the way we do it today. I wasn't aware they weren't doing that in the past. So they must have had Life Care there all on their own. Okay, the sheriff's not here. Zoning. Sam does have the report here, and I did update your packets. If you just look back, this is as of December, which was the last report we had, was the 43 new homes in 2024. And obviously, there'll probably be quite a few more coming in 2025. Because we've already got the several phases of the sandstone project approved. The bid was already let for continuation of the road that will interconnect Overland Road and State Route 58, so that'll bring in the commercial and some additional residential in that area. Probably this coming year, they'll have the road infrastructure completed and the underground utilities going. Okay, and the Zoning Commission, they held their organizational meeting this past Tuesday, January 7th. We still have Lonnie Dillon will be the chair, Jim Conrady will be the vice chair, and Colin Cerny will be the secretary. Then the Board of Zoning Appeals had their organizational meeting on Thursday, January 8th, with Bill Latrani as the chair and Steve Osterlenke as the vice chair.
What was the date for the zoning commission?
The zoning commission was on January 7th.
Thank you.
Fire prevention officer's not here. All right, for the,
Under zoning, Neil, we do have a notice for a hearing, a meeting for this subdivision review committee on the 21st, next Tuesday.
yeah, I passed that out at the last
After
meeting.
the last meeting, we didn't mention that, though, this meeting, and that's coming by, and that was with that Stratton Corners, and the
Correct.
plan that is being presented is a plan that was turned down by the zoning commission.
It hasn't been approved by the zoning commission. It was never brought to the zoning commission for formal approval. So what the zoning commission approved was development on the one parcel for 65 homes. What the developer's requesting now, he had to get a second outlet, because we had told him you're not going to get more than 50 with a single outlet. So what he's done is he presented at an informal meeting before the zoning commission with a new plan. He's no longer going to buy the 95 acres to the south on the east side of Overland Road, with the southern border being Albrecht. And that's all in the Oberlin School District. Instead, he's buying another 8.5 acre parcel that fronts State Route 113, and then he's working out an agreement with a property owner that has over an acre lot fronting Oberlin Road. That will become an emergency exit so that he can meet the subdivision review regulations that say you must have two modes of ingress and egress. He will put one home up on that 8.5 acre parcel, which is going to be the same person that is going to basically swap the 1 acre, so you're getting 8.5 acres for 1 acre, and getting one home on it. So the reality is, you look at that, he's asking for 73 homes on the acreage that the zoning commission and the board of trustees approved 65. So I don't know why it's going through the subdivision review subcommittee at this time. I'm going to be at that meeting. I know some of the residents that will be at that meeting. I'm just going to let them know, as I've already let them know, at least the leadership, that this hasn't been approved by the township yet. So, you know, I don't know what the subdivision review subcommittee can approve at this point in time. It still has to go back to the zoning commission and to the trustees. So it's, again, person has a right, I guess, to go through any door they want. The county's agreed to take that. So I'll be there to present the township's position that we have not approved that. We did discuss at the zoning commission with his plan that there would be the potential, if he gave up for, he could get on the one parcel, the 69 homes. But with the intention of conserving that whole wooded area, since this is a conservation development, and the resolution passed by the zoning commission and the township was agreeing to the zoning that doubled the density potential, but conserving all the wooded area so that you had a nice buffer between the existing residents. So we're still holding that position. That's all we've approved. So I don't know why it's going in this sequence, but again, that's obviously the county's accepted it. So is there anything else there, David? Did I miss
No,
anything?
I just wondered what you knew about it, but
I know.
that it's coming up.
I'm going to tell you exactly what I told you at the last meeting. You started peppering me with questions, and I told you it just came in the mail that day. I haven't even read it, and I put it down in front of you. And right after I mentioned that to you, you started asking me questions about it. So I told you more because now I've read through the detail. Okay, fire prevention officer is not here. Kevin, our road guy, Russ and Kevin are both out on the road right now since we've got a little bit of snow coming in. He was hoping to get back here before he's finished the runs, but that's obviously not the case. You have in front of you, though, What he did obtain was an estimate for grinding the yard waste at the Yard Waste Recycling Center. For the 3,000 cubic yards here, the estimate he has is for $16,750. That would include the haul-away. This quote, though, is dependent on it happening soon, so it's not something we can wait several meetings, because this quote is based on the same supplier doing the grindings for Elyria Township and the city of Elyria. So, you know, it's kind of like a package deal. If we wait on this, or if you want another quote from some others, which we can get, because this is well under the threshold, you know, just accept that this quote no longer will hold any weight, and if we go back to this particular supplier, he may have a different number, which we'd expect would be higher. So it's, this was just presented to me just before Kevin had to run out on to take care of the road maintenance.
Well, it's a good price, Neil. Why don't we vote on it tonight?
Well, that's
We
what
don't
he's
need it.
asking, so I'm just, you know,
Accept the estimate, accept a quote
Accept the quote.
from Barnes Nursery for grinding yard waste.
Barnes is pretty reasonable.
they've done it, we've had several do it, but he's been one. David, you want to put that wording together so that Chris can type it up? Or do you already have it, Chris?
I just said the trustees accepted the proposal because it's under the,
Accept a quote of
$16,750.
$16,750 from Barnes Nursery.
I just said the trustees accepted the proposal. If you want to write it down, you can. I'm not going to try and figure words.
Okay, I'll wordsmith it out.
You've got a copy of this, right, Chris? I put it at your place.
If you would like me to.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it will be to motion accept the proposal.
It's a pretty reasonable price.
From Barnes Nursery.
Linda, if Kevin doesn't get back, you'll probably be the first one to see him early in the morning. Just
Yeah,
let him
I'll
know
let
it
him
was approved. So he can get that shored up so that Barnes can get us on the same circuit to get this done. Just let me know when you're ready, Chris.
I'm ready.
Removal.
Okay, we're going to move on then. Township,
Oh,
We
we've
have
got a
to-
motion on the floor.
We have to vote on
Yard
it.
waste.
Nobody made a motion.
Denny did, I thought. Yard waste.
David, you seconded it, right?
Yeah.
I seconded it.
Let's accept a proposal from Barnes Nursery for $16,750 for the grinding and removal of yard waste. Okay. There it is.
Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Township Administrator Ashley.
I'll go back a little bit for Kevin's part here. The MS4, that's the annual report, that was completed. I did send it in to Jessica today. I think you have a copy of it, Neil. She said they'll review it and let us know if they've got any questions. The annual report for the composting for the 2024 year, we completed that and submitted too, so we should be all set. We're waiting for the fleet, I forget what it's called, the e-check for the fleet. That usually comes in February, so we're waiting for that to get that done. And I think that's about all I worked with Kevin on. The mini grant, I'll talk to him about that, figure out what it is. Sponsorship, NOPEC sponsorship event grant for $1,500 I did apply for. They do have it. They said we're approved. She'll let me know. She said it, you know, it's kind of an automatic approval. You put it in, and we put it in for dumpster days.
As long as you comply with the requirements. And I assume the profile that has to be looked at and updated for that NOPEC grant is the same profile for the energized community?
No,
They're different, why would they?
I don't know.
Okay.
They are. They're different. The sponsorship event, which I found interesting, was that we do put it down for dumpster days, and then I did a spreadsheet for dumpster days. And if we use the guys' hourly pay, which includes their benefits, and the backhoe hours, it's costing the township like $5,000 per dumpster day.
Well, plus it's time and a half.
Oh, I didn't do time and a half. Okay.
That's- yeah,
All right,
when they're
well,
here
add
on
it
the-
more. Yeah, I didn't even think about time and a half. I just did it on straight, but it was like $5,100 and some dollars is what it's costing us. So the $1,500 helps.
Oh, it definitely
But
does,
it's-
and we
yeah.
no longer get the solid waste grants are down to zero. I just keep these on here for a reminder for people to know it used to be $70,000 a year, and it just kept going down, down,
Right,
down. And
right.
now it's zero, and I don't know that it'll ever come back.
So,
But Linda, just so you're aware, it's one that the board isn't willing to cut at this point in time, but we always know if money gets real tight, unfortunately, that's going to be one of the services that is cut. And I
Right.
know the people that use it will be upset, but,
and I
it's...
don't think people understand, just like myself until I did the numbers, we don't understand what it costs to do the dumpster days for 3 days of manpower and running our backhoe for 24 hours.
Right,
3 8-hour days.
and it gets used, they line up.
Thankfully, the dumpsters we don't have to pay for. That's all in our contract with Rumpke.
Right.
but
That saved us money.
That saves us money, right. Let's see what else. I'm working on, we've got the inventory list printed, and we're going to be working on that whenever, like Kevin has a minute, when we have a minute. I did have a gentleman come in to talk again about either coming up with a network for us or some kind of cloud service, because it was all right before that we all had standalone computers, and we were functioning fine. We now have Morgan in the office too, so it's Morgan's computer, my computer, and Sam's computer, and we're all working on zoning. And so we're having trouble with, if somebody makes a change on a permit log, the other two don't have the changes, and we're not sure which one is the latest, most accurate worksheet. So if we have a network or a cloud-based system where we could all put it up into one spot, pull it down, work on it, and then put it back up, everybody's going to be working on the most current updated forms. It's something that we have to do. I mean, we're at a point where it's not working. I feel like we're making some mistakes because of this. So I'll let you know what that is. There is a cybersecurity grant through, I believe it's the OTA, that we're going to be looking into to see if that could help us cover some of the cost. The company that I did talk to does offer cybersecurity too, so we could get rid of some of ours, like Avast. We wouldn't have to pay Avast anymore. We'd pay him to monitor, or his company to monitor. Also the same with, we have Carbonite as our backup, and we pay for multiple computers for Carbonite. When everything's up in the cloud, it's all backed up and covered. So we could get rid of Carbonite too.
Still
and
not
that's a cost of
100% secure, though, but
I'm sorry?
Still not 100% secure.
I know.
The
But this
schools
is,
just learned.
he does work with municipalities, and he's worked with police stations, and he works with cities, so he's pretty up to date on what, the ransomware, the sandbox, all the things that are required. One thing that he did bring to my attention, I have not looked into it, was that Governor DeWine is now taking on an initiative where all municipalities, townships, et cetera, need to use a .gov email because it's more secure than using Gmail or any other.
I just don't understand how that's the case, because when we started, going back almost 20 years, they insisted we use the .us.
Well, now he's on to .gov. So I will look into that more. I don't know enough about it. I'm just telling you what we were told. So that's something else that we're going to have to look into. Other than that, I mean, we're just busy. We're trying to get everything, our dream is to get everything into spreadsheets and scanned and put on the computers, because if we ever had a fire or a flood, we would lose so much. We'd lose our contracts, we'd lose all of our variances, our conditional uses. Morgan's been doing a great job she's got the conditional uses, And the variances, eventually we want to do the contracts too. That's probably about all. That's enough.
Did the EPA get back to you an approval of the yard waste?
No. we
Okay,
haven't
so
heard
you just
anything yet.
submitted everything, you haven't heard back from them yet?
No.
Okay.
We did that on Thursday. We submitted it, but I've not heard anything back. It is a possibility that Kevin's heard something back and he didn't forward it to me yet
Okay.
because he's been in and out, like I said, for a few days. And there's some changes too, and I put it on in your box. There's going to be some changes for the Mercy Occupational Health, just some form changes, some billing changes, that kind of stuff. I did put the rates in Chris's box. Just some updates where we just have to change the way we're doing things a little bit, but it's
Okay.
not anything major.
Any other questions for Linda?
Linda, do you recall where that was that you received a complaint for a light out? It's somewhere, Deepwood or?
238 Rustic Hill. Rustic Hill and Deepwood.
At Rustic Hill and Deepwood.
She said about 3 houses up by a curve.
Okay. That light appears to be on.
She said it has its own mind. Some nights it's out, some nights it's on, some nights it comes on for an hour, some nights it's flickering. It just does whatever it wants to do. And she's been watching it for quite a while,
I
she said.
understand. Times I've been by, it's been on.
It's probably like the one on our street at the corner of Oak Knoll and Hidden Tree. Sometimes it's very, very dim, sometimes it's out, sometimes it's flickering, and sometimes it's working like a charm.
How has it been lately?
Tonight, it's
Working
very
well.
dim. It's very dim.
Okay, I haven't seen it flickering or out or anything.
Yeah, no, it's really, really dim. It's like hardly on at all.
Did you want to touch on the consideration for how to use the
Oh.
NOPEC Energized Community funding?
Yes, I forgot about that. Thank you. NOPEC sent us a letter, and I believe we're getting $12,000 some dollars this year. We do have a balance of $26,766 from what we've escrowed the last couple years. $3,000 of it needs to be spent by November of '25. The others we can carry over a little bit because I believe we have 2 years to carry over. One of the considerations that Kevin and I have been kind of playing, tossing back and forth, are new furnaces for this building. We have them checked every year. Last year, I believe it was, when Shagavat came in to check it, there's a crack in one of the furnaces somewhere, and I'll have to have Kevin explain all of it to you. There's a crack, and they said you can't just fix that piece, you needed to replace the furnaces. So we do have the almost $27,000 if we wanted to replace furnaces. That does qualify as a grant expenditure.
27,000?
That's what we have in our escrow balance that we can
Yes.
spend. That's not what the furnaces are. We don't know what those will cost yet.
Yeah, that'll be $26,755 is the accurate amount. That's because we still have $14,619 in escrow that we've held back so that you can do a larger project. So we just received the notice for the additional $12,136, which brings us up to $26,755.
Okay.
So now if we've got the funding, since we've got this issue with the furnaces anyway, and now
Aren't they
would be the
gas
time.
furnace?
They are gas furnaces, yes.
Yeah.
Have you checked with the builder and to see if what he says about it?
The builder that installed the furnaces,
Yes,
I don't believe Kevin has talked to them. I'm not sure. Is that Clifford?
yes,
Okay.
Clifford. Call him and see what he can do, if he can do anything.
Okay.
Those aren't that
But-
old.
But see if you can get a lower price.
Yeah, we don't know a price at all, Denny, because we've not priced it out.
Oh, okay.
That money that you're talking, that you're thinking about, that's what we have to spend without
All right.
spending any township money.
Okay,
So, yeah, I
It's going to be
couldn't even
more.
begin. I couldn't even begin to tell you.
And David, to your question, that they're not that old, they're at least 14 years.
They're from 9.
Yeah.
Well, check with the builder and see if there's any recourse or if there's anything on it. Tell him we're having problems with it and see what he can do.
Okay. I'll run that by Kevin, and we'll talk about it tomorrow if I see him.
And then call me.
Okay.
Okay, that it then, Linda?
That is.
Right. And I'm not sure if the governor's legislature are going to renew the H2O Ohio grant or not. That's one where we put in for changing the canopy on a salt shed.
I've not seen anything on that.
I haven't yet either, but we might want to keep an eye on that because remember when that comes out, they don't give you a whole lot of time.
Right.
I think the only one in Lorraine County that received anything was the city of Lorraine in the last round. And that was surprising. I would have thought there would have been more up in Lorraine County.
Oh, there is one more thing, when I just remembered. The House Bill 47 for the AEDs, and then it changed to House Bill 315 where they changed some things
They
which
put in
really...
an omnibus bill with all, yeah.
Right. I did call Kim Arnold from Otarma, and I'm awaiting a call back to discuss with her. I know she's been talking to Kyle Brooks, so I wanted to go to Kim first, see what she knows, what she has to say. Hopefully something will be mentioned at the winter conference, perhaps.
I'll be asking down there, but I've talked with the OTA leadership, and I kind of get the shoulder shrugs now that it went through. I just want to make sure that we don't get called before a judge in Oberlin courts because we didn't comply with it.
We didn't have our AEDs in there.
Yeah.
The other thing is there is a grant that they are working on for the OTA in the OTA legislative thing. That there's a grant that they're trying to put through to allow, I think it's, I forget, Morgan would tell you, $50 million maybe, for AEDs purchasing for different municipalities and townships.
Yeah.
Well, townships.
Yeah, this whole thing, boy, you just wonder if there wasn't some special interest in there to push this through, because if I were selling AEDs right now, I'd be doing a good business plan for next year.
Yeah, we should have bought stock.
Yeah, once it's mandated, and how do you do that in an open park? We got 2 of them.
Right, and then we have, well, you know, the weather and everything else
Right,
to
okay.
worry about, and vandalism. And, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more discussion down in Columbus, but just realize it's only the larger townships, and you got some that are the 50,000 people, but it's 5,000 and up. Actually, the majority of the townships don't have that many people in their township, so you're just going to get those larger townships that have an interest. Because even here in Lorraine County, there's only 3 of us out of 18, so the other 15 is, why are you guys even talking about this?
Well, and that's one thing that I'm going to run by Kim too, would it release us from liability if we could somehow have it written that in the contracts with the
Right,
sporting
yeah.
teams, we give them the responsibility to make sure they have the AEDs and the trainings.
Yeah, but and just so Denny and David, that was the one option, is we do have these agreements with the different organized athletic groups that use our parks, but this law came in after that. And the concern is even if we put that burden on them, which might be the appropriate thing, they know what their schedule is, and which is always not in our hours of operation. Is that really going to hurt those organizations, which tend to rely on a lot of volunteer people? Now they've got the expense and responsibility, and the law specifies the training that you require also. So that would mean all those coaches need that training. And since the coaches go to multiple locations, now a league's going to need multiple AEDs to cover all the different parks that they have their activities at. So we just got to wait until we get better information from our risk managers on this, or from the OTA. So, the law had good intentions and was a very good, feel-good thing. Obviously, it was sponsored by the family of one of the Browns players whose father passed away while in an active fitness center. But that's not the situation here. Somehow the law changed from being fitness centers and schools to also include public parks. That's where it makes it difficult. And at least they put it only for the organized activities. Well, okay, I just need it when the sports teams are down there playing, but still, who gets it there? How do you get it there? How do you maintain it? How do you ensure the people that are there have the training? It's difficult.
Here comes the coach, he's got the bag of soccer balls and the AED.
Right,
That's the way it's gonna be.
yes. Okay.
They
All
don't
right.
even have a first aid kit, but they got an AED.
So nothing else, right, Linda?
That's all, sorry.
Okay, well then, with that, I do want to handle the first one, which Linda will already be taken care of, and I'm going to make a motion to authorize the township administrator take all actions necessary to apply for the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council 2025 Community Events Sponsorship Grant Application.
I'll second that motion.
I don't think we need any more discussion on it since
Which grant was that?
the NOPEC Event Sponsorship Grant. This is
It's
the
the
$1,500, David.
Yeah. Talking about so much. Maybe AEDs.
What's that?
We could use some of that grant money for AEDs.
Well, this is going for the dumpster days.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
already earmarked for that.
But there's some, I wonder.
Well, that's what we said, there is a potential grant that they're trying to work out, OTA, to cover the AEDs, hopefully. That doesn't mean we'll get it.
What number is that?
We're waiting for the roll call.
Abraham, you seconded it.
Yeah.
It is 1425. Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes,
Urick.
Yes.
25?
1425.
Okay, and then I actually realized I skipped it. And Linda, this is one that you, Sam, and bringing to me, we've been working on for the trustees. I wanted to cover this under zoning, actually, but this is the resolution to try and recover some of the costs for the site plan review and variance hearings, particularly for our fire prevention officer and our architect. If you recall, the trustees agreed they felt there was still value in keeping an architect under our employee. So we have, after Mark Lesnar retired, David was able to, after reviewing several architects, we settled on Tom Bodie. But what we found is in these site plan reviews, depending upon the scope of the review, we're losing quite a bit of funds, which we covered at the 2 meetings ago. So what we were charging was less than what our cost is. You've got in the resolution, you've got the letter from the prosecutor's office letting us know that we do have the authority to put this in place. We were trying to determine what was the best way. Originally, I thought it'd be best if we collect the funds before the fact, but after Sam and Linda went through this, and based on what we've seen in other site plan reviews, we know the norm is for the fire inspector and the architect, it's under 2 hours each. So the decision was notify any applicant that if either that here's the cost, but it could be more if it requires more than 2 hours of architectural review or fire prevention officer review. And that would be based on the hourly rates that we pay them. So we've got the architect under contract, the rates for the fire prevention officer are in the 3-year agreement we have with the city of Amherst. So that's the proposal. I'm going to make the motion to bring it to the floor that site plan review and variance hearing cost recovery for architect and fire inspector services greater than 2 hours for each professional service is approved. So that'll be my motion. You've got,
Second.
okay.
Good. Lynch?
Seconded.
David did.
Yeah, I said Lynch.
Yes.
Uri?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
The number, Chris?
1525.
Well, that went easier than I thought.
That number is
1525. Okay, that's all the business I had on the agenda for this evening. Is there anything else to come before the board?
no, I have nothing else.
Really, the policy committee today let you know that they're looking at revenues of 2.281 million for the year 2024, and they had expenditures of about 1.710 million. The balance is for the year, current district balance is $4,885,900. And a lot of that's contingent on what happens with Republic and their contract with the city of Cleveland. Right now, we're looking sometime in 2026, so about another year and a half, and they should know what's going to happen there. If they would lose that contract, that provides a major stream of revenue in regards to tipping fees for the district. So if they would lose that stream of revenue, that would severely impact the district's finances. Until that time, we're kind of in limbo with the balance, because they need that balance to carry them through till something else comes along. So the thought is to not do anything with the balance right now until we see what the long term is with the landfill in Oberlin. And they finished the district finished new contracts with vendors. All the vendors remain the same except for the e-waste, electronic waste, and that they have a new contractor, new vendor for taking that waste. Collection center was slower in December, but that's understandable. It's winter. There was also talk of should they do a 15-year plan versus a 10-year plan. There's some questions on that, but a decision doesn't have to be made until the end of 2025. Starting toward the end of the year, first of next year, the planning cycle for the current plan, for another plan update, will begin. And our current plan is a 10-year plan, so it'll be along that lines. However, a decision has to be made whether we want to go to a 15-year plan, and if that's the case, then the planning cycle would be a little more elongated. We wouldn't have as many updates so quick, Anyway, to let you know, that's what went on in the district, and a lot with the sustainability center. That's an educational center to encourage and teach about recycling. It's at the collection center. They did a very nice job, and it's interactive, and it allows, like for example, students to come in and to learn about recycling and how to recycle, what should go where, in order to educate and change people's attitudes toward recycling. And in the plan, a lot of emphasis was put on for this cycle on education, to improve recycling rates, to improve the contamination rates. All this through education. So that's a major component of the plan, and it's a major responsibility of the Sustainability Center. Say that. Also, I did have a couple of questions from a resident, and one, what do you do with an old window air conditioner? Well, that's a good question. That's technically like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So it has to be defanged. It has
Right.
to have the
Tag on it.
coolant taken out of it, and like you said, tagged. And there are places that do that, and it should be available on the Solid Waste District's website there. Also, air conditioning, microwaves. Microwaves, they do take microwaves at the collection center, I found out.
Dehumidifiers.
Uh-huh. Well, I would think the dehumidifiers might need to be, they have to be defanged too, don't they?
Right, unless somebody dismantles them in pieces and puts them in the waste. But nobody do that.
But anyway, but
They
those
have
are
to
the
appear
items.
before a judge.
Those are the items. They're looking at a possibility of an EPA grant this year for another shred truck. They've got a current shred truck. It's getting older. And if they can get another one, then they'll have two. But they don't know how long they'll have two because of the age and wear and tear on the current one. But anyway, that's one of the things they're looking at. But that's what went on at the policy committee.
All right, anything else then on the solid waste, David?
Not right now, not right now.
Okay.
That question on that light and that question on that air conditioner and that microwave.
All right, one other
To do with
thing.
that.
You're a representative on the Solid Waste Consortium.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking, they wanted people to respond to make sure that there was a,
I was gonna ask you.
I cannot make it, so they've got 6 so far, and they need 7 to have a quorum.
I cannot get to it. I've got more consideration.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what
at
my
least,
drawback is.
well, at least respond to them that Amherst Township won't have a rep there then,
Okay.
okay? That's what they're looking for, and they didn't get 100% response yet from everyone, but they need one more. All right, is there anything else?
No.
All right, our next regular meeting will be at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, January 28th. As I indicated, I will not be at that meeting. Kevin's not here, but I'm sure with the weather, he's not going to want any work sessions scheduled between now and that meeting. Judge Potential, do you have any comments you want to make, or one last pitch for you?
Well, I actually have some phone cards that I brought with my website where you can get more information about it, so I'll
Okay.
pass those to you before I...
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, and there's no need for an executive session. All right, then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.